Welcome, everybody. We called it. We had another great week last week, and by great, I mean mediocre at best. However, I went 500. Okay, so I can only say when I said that you wouldn't lose money last week, did not tell you that you also would not win money last week. That's the only problem. That's the only apology that I have this week. And I don't even remember how you did last week. Phil, how did you do last
Don't worry about it.
He was right on par with the rest of the year for him. So take that with a grain of salt.
Okay.
I continue to print people money. No big deal. It's what I do. If you listen to me, you will come out slightly ahead each week. You're welcome.
As always, ladies and gentlemen, Phillip Call, actuarial science genius test taker. He's taking a test right now. If anybody cares about real life, we don't.
I was saying, if anyone cares about real life, Ken's gonna have a baby in less than a week. This is Ken Call's last show with us.
Keep it on important things.
Is
okay?
that you listen to Dr. Kenneth Call joining me and bringing a baby into this world. That is the most important thing.
It sounds like you two are having a baby. That sentence.
No, not together. I'm the godfather.
No.
I am the godfather. He has appointed me because we share our T. Higgins love, which we will get to today. Jamar Chase out, T. Higgins to the moon. If we don't open with this show, we don't do anything right. If we don't open with the show with T. Higgins being the topic of the hour, we're doing it wrong. We're opening with that. Ken and I have always been on it. Still sucks.
All right, Connor, two things here.
I'm happy to be your godfather.
Hey, thank you very much. Yep. Honorary godfather. Thank you. Two things real quick. Number one, I'm proving that I love T. Higgins by picking the T. Higgins come out as wide receiver one game this week. Bill's not. That's all you need. Those are stats for you.
Stats.
But also, just a quote here. Time management sucks. Decisions in situation football
Ken's
sucks.
getting muted. You guys cannot hear him. All right, Ken, you guys are both currently muted, so it doesn't matter what you say because I am not listening. Ken is reading from a thing that my cousin sent. It's garbage. It's not garbage take, but it's not completely irrelevant to this. We are going to move on. All right. Kevin Stefanski is the topic that we are going to be talking about.
I don't expect to be undefeated, but there are winnable matchups. We've lost to which quarterbacks? Zappy, Flacco, Mariota, all beatable.
Ken. All right. Are you done?
Do I think he should be fired? Not yet. But he quit on the team yesterday, and he's earned himself the hot seat.
Are you done?
That's good enough.
All right.
You guys are wondering. I like the Bengals. None of this has anything to do with the Bengals, so enjoy.
All right. Since it is a topic to the circles that Ken and I are in, here is just a quick summary of things I put together on Kevin Stefanski. We'll let people decide if it matters or not. Number one, Browns have a top 10 offense in both points per drive and yards per drive. They move the ball and they score highly effectively. 2, PFF has them as the number 2 graded offense in the NFL this year. That is with a backup quarterback and probably, bottom 7 or 8 in receiving weapons. All they have is an offensive line and Nick Chubb, and they're outproducing everyone. Now, everyone's trashing on Stefanski, but this has been a year down in scoring across the league. It is the lowest scoring totals since 2009, I think is what Pro Football Reference had. Well, you know what? The Browns have been in shootouts every week. They have hit the over in 5 of their 7 games. The only teams that are even close to that are the Lions, the Saints, and the Raiders. The defense is a freaking joke, and that is not Stefanski's responsibility. Yeah, so do the Browns. That's the whole point. And we have a backup quarterback and a terrible defense. We're losing close games. What do you expect with that recipe? Backup quarterbacks don't win. That's why they're backups. Bad defenses don't win. You put those together, we are happy to be at 2-5. The only game that we should be 3-4. That Jets game was a complete atrocity. However, the quarterbacks you quoted are all better than Jacoby Brissett. Next year, Jacoby Brissett is going back to the bench, and he's not going to start ahead of Marcus Mariota. He's not going to start ahead of Bailey Zappi. He wouldn't start ahead of Joe Flacco. So this is garbage on everyone's take that, oh, the Browns, yes, they should be better. They should be one game better, and that's because of a complete garbage thrown defensive game. It was once in 1,000 years that has happened. So you know what? Stefanski is fine.
1 in 1,000 years?
Yeah. Do you know why? Because it's happened one time in the history of football, and that's been 1,000 years. You don't remember?
Sure.
Oh my God. Have you guys seen Division III football's finest?
Yes.
When he's speaking at halftime, and he's just like, Jesus, he used to play football too, and him and the apostles would go up against the Roman soldiers. So Ken, football is a 2,000-year-old game.
If you guys are wondering,
just so you know, that was just a quote from a group chat. That wasn't how I feel about Stefanski. I actually,
Ken, I want to let you know I muted your mic, and I don't know what they heard. It was in and out a whole lot.
You did that, Phil. I want you to know. You did that.
I'll summarize here. Bill took the side of defending Stefanski and took the side of trashing Stefanski. However, this does not define Ken. This does not define his opinion.
That was a quote. It was just a quote.
In the middle of the road and would like to hear what I have to say. I think that's what he said. I think our viewers would like to hear what I have.
As the godfather of Ken's future baby, we would love to hear what you're going to say.
As honorary godfather for the night, yes.
We have some hot buzzwords tonight. Godfather, baby, T. Higgins,
Jesus, Roman.
Romans, Division III football's finest, the greatest football movie ever made.
Andy Dick.
Listen, yeah. I don't know what it's like to be a Browns fan. I know what it's like to overreact. I do it every weekend in fantasy football. I feel like I'm going to, punch a baby, not Ken's, but someone else's, every weekend after my fantasy.
You never did it to your godson.
Anyways, so I can't tell you the idea about frustration. I know the Bengals dealt with mediocrity forever. They're just like, hey, yeah, just get into the playoffs, suck, be better than the majority of teams in your division, get to the playoffs, lose first round. I don't know which one's better, to be mediocre or to be really terrible. Anyways, I think whatever it is, if you're looking at the losses this year, the average margin of loss, the average points that the Browns have lost by is less than 5. I mean, it's you have I think it was 3 or 4 losses that are by 3 points or less, which is just insane. If you remember, probably a bad example because he did get fired, but Zimmerman last year for the Vikings was incredible. They lost by a total of 8 points over 5 games, which is crazy. A total of 8 points. I feel that is how the Browns are this year. However, I feel like Browns fans are also forgetting the fact that he's doing all of this with accused rapist that is ready to come in. Keep that aside. I get that. But who was also one of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks at his peak coming in the end of this year and the beginning of next year. This is a wash of a year. I don't care what anybody says. Because the reality is you have to judge people based on this industry, wins and losses, when you have your full strength and when you have your full chemistry with your team. This whole year was going to be a wash. Guess what? Kareem Hunt's probably getting traded. Sorry, Ken. I know you like him. I like him too. Dude's getting traded. He's out of town. So
4th round pick's a steal, and wherever he goes, he's going to be a stud.
So you're going to get an all-pro quarterback, an all-pro running back next year. None of us are excusing anything that Mr. Therapist friend is doing off the field. We're just talking about on the field. I get that. But this is kind of a wash. What they do need to do, potentially, and the defensive coordinator, like, that's first order of business. That's fine. You can get rid of him. That's fine. But I don't think Stefanski's the problem here.
Just real quick, I agree. I think our Joe Woods, our defensive coordinator, should have been gone a while ago. I don't hate Stefanski, but also I completely agree. They're set up for Deshaun Watson. Sorry, he's the quarterback. He's the future. They do not care about the first 11 games this year. In my summary.
Crazy. It's like exactly what I said, that when you have a backup quarterback and a bottom 5 defense, what is happening doesn't matter for the guy who's an offensive coach and leading an offense to actually be good. By the way,
Connor, who you got, man?
Hang on. One last stat on the Browns. They've spent all their resources on their defense too, and it still sucks, which is why I hate Joe Woods. Denzel Ward is the 105 out of 110 in corners, according to PFF. Greg Newsome is in the bottom half. He's like 60. And John Johnson is awful too. He's like 60 out of 72 safeties. That's all defensive coaching. That is not on Kevin Stefanski. That is where all the resources have gone. That's 2 first-round picks and $10 million in free agency. Now I'm done. Drives me crazy.
I mean, yes, you make good points.
Oh, what? The defensive players that are actually good aren't playing up to their caliber because the coach sucks? Yeah, that's a very good point.
I will say, you can be coached to be put in very poor positions. And I would say he's not doing a great job.
Well, these are all players that played at top, 32, 20-ish level at their position. Which is why...
To be fair, to your point, Jalen Ramsey doesn't go on an island every single week. He gets a lot of help over the top. I mean, same with Trayvon Diggs. All of those guys are the best at what they do because they are able to go out on an island. Guess what? If you go out on an island 99 out of 100 plays every week, guess what? You're going to lose probably 5 to 10 of them. And guess what? 5 to 10 on an island with no help means touchdown, NFL caliber all-pro wide receivers.
That was
that's how
that was Richard Sherman. He was just like, yeah, dude, you know what sucks about being a corner? I can play great 99 out of 100 snaps. If I screw up one snap, that's a 70-yard touchdown. And I look like crap for the whole game. Okay, that's enough. Drives me crazy. Browns fans, you're wrong. Save Stefanski. I just watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off, by the way. Go rewatch that. And stop and look around every once in a while.
Or just at least see what happens the rest of the year and the beginning of next year. That's a good idea.
Yeah, don't fire him. Ever. I'm just kidding. That's hot. All right, let's go on. Ken and Connor. So this is Ken's maybe last week. So he's loaded with picks. Connor's hot on a lot of picks this week too. I'm actually...
By the way, mention that this is easily the most picks we've ever had, I think.
Easily. I think it's coming in with at least 100 to 300 picks. I haven't counted. Easily 100 to 300.
They're all good ones. Guys, this is a money week. This is a money week.
So Ken, as the leader of this bandwagon with, it looks like 30 picks today, let's go. What's your number one pick of the week? Where are we winning money no matter what? Guaranteed. Stamp of approval.
It's easy. You go straight to when Bill Belichick is going against an underdog after a loss. Him against the spread. He wins this one every time. Oh, and then he's playing the Jets. Guess what? I do not care if it is Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones. I know Mac Jones is starting. That will hopefully last 1 to 2 series. But I'm sorry. I do not think... I think that more important than anything is Zach Wilson is going to be revealed that he really sucks at football. He has tons of weapons on this offense. Joe Flacco passed for 300 yards all the time with these exact same weapons, and Zach Wilson can't pass for over 120 in any of these games. Yes, he's winning, but it is not going to stick. No Breece Hall. Bill Belichick will say, "Okay, Zach Wilson, try to beat me," and that's not gonna work. It's gonna be a low score. I think I picked the under to go with it, but do not underestimate Bill Belichick after a loss. Do not overestimate how good Zach Wilson is, because it is very bad.
Ken, important question.
Okay.
Would you rather, this is a would you rather face Bill Belichick after a loss or face your pregnant wife after you didn't take out the trash? So.
One of those has never existed. I've always taken out the trash. Because I am scared of my pregnant wife. The answer is always never against her.
Never, ever will you face a pregnant woman and think it's safe. All right, Connor. Well, actually, I have the under in that game. Pretty much for all the same reasons Ken said. I think I
have the under as well. I thought your pick was mine.
I think the Patriots are going to steamroll this one. By the way, I wrote about it in my article last week, but
and pick them.
I only like to do one pick per game because I'm not you. But
it hasn't worked for me so far.
But no, I wrote about the Jets last week. They were playing the Broncos. I'm like, you know what? This game is a complete crapshoot of who's going to have one big play. And I said, I bet Breece Hall is the one who has the big play, and that's what swings the game. And that's exactly what happened. Well, this week, I think it's another one where neither offense can do anything. So it's going to be who makes a big play. I would bet it's the Patriots, but rather than bet on that, I'm just taking the under. It's much safer.
Yep. Ramondre Stevenson. Yep. By the way, we talked him up, and we were right.
He had a great, was it Bailey Zappi's first snap? It was a hot read to Ramondre, and it was a really pretty play, actually. Connor, you're up.
Guys, I don't know what is going on with, Las Vegas, but they continue to make the New York Giants the underdog. I don't know why. I honestly do not know why. They are, 6-1 now? 6-1? 5-1? And yet, somehow, they still end up the underdog. Listen, I'm convinced just give Dable the coach of the year. Just give it to him. He could win no more games the rest of the year. None. 0. And I think he still wins this award. Just the crapshoot that he went into is unbelievable. He plays keep away. He's got Daniel Jones at least being viable at the quarterback position, the hardest position to play in the NFL. And he's got Saquon potentially being MVP of the league. I don't know much about their defense, but somehow, some way, I just feel like they are always a tough out. They do not get crazy amount of points scored on them. I don't think they just feel like they are a lot tougher than they get credit for. So, listen, I'm gonna keep riding with them. I think I picked them as 3 out of the 4 weeks, and they've won. And I think the only other time that I didn't pick them, I think you picked them, Phil, and they did hit. So I don't know. I don't know what the disconnect is here. I think they're just saying, yeah, Daniel Jones sucks, which I don't disagree with, but okay, great. Seattle's got great young corners. Fantastic. They don't throw the ball. They have every game under this year under 250 passing yards. So what? I don't know how this isn't this biggest smash play of the week. By the way, Ken, I don't know what you're doing, but you have Seattle picked here. Actually, Phil also has the Giants. So
I'm gonna go on my Giants. I'm gonna go on my Giants rant and then let Ken come in. So The Giants break analytics, and it's because they actually have an awesome coach that plays great situational football. He is exactly what the Browns fans who want Stefanski out would want to have. Brian Daboll calls a phenomenal game offensively. He just the right play at the right time to score. And then Wink Martindale does the same thing defensively, which is why they break Vegas. Their offense, they can't move the ball offensively. They run the ball a ton, but even Saquon doesn't run the ball highly efficiently. He just busts out a 50-yard run occasionally, so his stats look better. But they don't do well. I think it's Warren Sharp's. Sharp, he's a football analyst. His success rate. They don't do well at that when they run the ball. They do nothing well statistically. It's just on third down in the fourth quarter, their defense is going to stop you because they're going to dial up a blitz or something that you're not ready for. And they're going to convert in the red zone. They're just a team that plays right at the right time. It's phenomenal, and you're right, Connor. It's 100% to Brian Daboll completely saving this roster from, like, it's been a complete crapshoot. If you followed, like, their wide receiving core, just as a sample, they were hyped up coming into the year, and now they're backups out there, and he's making it work. So super happy for Daboll. I thought he would be a great coach when he was in Buffalo, and I'm just glad it's all working out. Now, Ken, go ahead. Trash us.
All right. And it's exactly what Phil said. Analytically, this team sucks, and they just can't win every game. I'm going based off of are not a 7-1 team. They are
the
a
hot
6-2
hand
team.
theory, the classic math-based hot hand theory.
Also, so just a few things, and I really don't like going based off of DVOA because Phil just loves those three letters.
I hate DVOA. That is a garbage stat, and any other day I will tell you why DVOA sucks and why I use PFF grades.
Well, DVOA the last 2 weeks, the Seattle defense. Guess how high it was?
1,000.
Yes.
I don't even know how that works.
All right. No, back to back, best DVOA best defense the last 2 weeks. I think that for as underrated as the Giants are, I think Seattle is right there with them. They certainly looked good against the Chargers last week, but I think that Geno Smith, he's looking like he's passable. I think Kenneth Walker is looking passable. Has nothing to do with the fact that I have both of those guys in fantasy and I'm playing Daniel Jones. But, oh wait, that's a combination of everything. It's going to be a good week for me. That's what I got.
So if you guys if you guys are wondering, go ahead, Ken.
Oh, sorry.
Finish your thought.
Giants DVOA 29th. I think that defensive. I think offensively, I think Seattle can keep up with them, and I just think that the magic for the Giants has to slow down at some point. I mean, I'm okay with 6-2. I don't think they're a 7-1 team. That's all I got.
There is no magic, though. You don't understand.
Their
defensive coordinator is so much smarter than your offense. That's the magic. They are 6th in third down efficiency and 4th in red zone efficiency.
You want to talk about magic?
That is
Look at Geno Smith. Now that's magic.
All right.
So if you guys are wondering, the thesis is Ken and I are looking at numbers. Ken is going based off of feelings.
Phil and I are going off numbers.
Oh yeah,
Ken.
sorry.
I quoted DVOA. Those are numbers.
Yeah, and I just told you
that are made up. Made up.
I also told you, if you ever want a good lecture, I will go into the difference on why DVOA is a flawed statistic. But no one is interested. Huh?
Okay, let's hear it.
Oh, it's really simple. It's a game level stat compared to play level. It's really dumb. They don't monitor how teams do each play. They monitor how the teams do in total. And your efficiency numbers get really skewed, and it's very bad at projection. So, blah. Yeah, see? No one cares. I could go into more detail, but you don't want to know that.
Listen, we're going to need a diagram next week. That's your takeaway.
I gotcha. Okay, I'll come up with the whole thing.
Talk about when I'm not here after Seattle wins.
All right. Ken won't be able to come back and brag. All right. My Smash play of the week. Here we go. Tennessee, baby. We're talking about good coaches. The only one of the few that I would say is a fantastic coach. That he obviously can scheme and knows defensive schemes, but his real value is just situational football, and that's Mike Vrabel. Ken had him last week off a bye. They looked fantastic. Now this is a game where, last year I think they lost to Houston once and almost lost twice. Like they were a field goal away. But I'm believing in Tennessee to come out and just beat the brakes off of Houston. Just be a better football team throughout. This is a 2.5 point spread. It's very low. And pretty much we're saying Tennessee's going to win. They're going to cover by more than a field goal. Real simple. Houston has been nice. They've looked good through 3 quarters in each game, but in that 4th quarter, they've just been collapsing. Ken had them last week, and I think said that they were up by 3 or something so it looked like a comfortable cover because he had 7.5 points. But then interceptions, blown defenses, and next thing you know, it's a 38-20 blowout. So I believe in Tennessee. Derrick King Henry's going to come through and just bust out a late game touchdown, give everyone peace of mind so that they don't have to keep watching. Let's go Tennessee.
Real quick, those two losses, or one loss and one, I think it was 2 losses last year that they had against Houston, were without Derrick Henry. And Josh Jacobs just completely embarrassed this Houston team and this run defense, and Derrick Henry can do that better. Phil said they looked good last week. They didn't score an offensive touchdown. They didn't need to. Yes. Oh, DVOA says that Tennessee is a bad defense, but they also says Houston's a bad offense. So,
I need a regular mute button to just put Ken in time. Oh, he's gone. You know what, Ken? Once you have your baby, you're out for the rest of the year.
You're gonna regret that after I sweep this week.
By the way, everyone here.
After his 30 picks this week all hit, we're kicking him out.
By the way, everyone also here, we all smashed this for Tennessee. I have the fun stat of mixing fantasy and gambling, and I think it is the average over his last 4 games. King Henry against Houston has averaged something like 33 points in fantasy over his last 4 or 5 games versus Houston, and Houston has the bottom. I think they're 26th in rushing defense in the entire NFL. So I'm going to go ahead and just take that one to the bank.
All right, Ken, let's hear your next pick. You have so many. How do you
I don't even know who I picked. I got to be honest. No, we already talked about Cincy Cleveland.
Did we?
Just a little in the intro, Phil. But Stefanski against the spread in his division is pretty poor. He does beat Cincinnati, but I don't believe in the Cleveland Browns. I do believe in Joe Burrow. I do believe in T. Higgins. Phil, how do you feel about that?
Ken knows I picked Cleveland because we were talking pre-show about how everyone had a bunch of picks. Like, I need more. And I said, you know what? I'm hyping up Kevin Stefanski. I'm buying him this week. Give me 3.5 points. And then I said that, and I'm like, oh, man, dude. I have a button that says I believe in Joe Burrow. And T. Higgins is on my fantasy team, and I loved me some T. Higgins. But you know what? I'm feeling it. I think Cincinnati, I don't know what's going on with Jamar Chase. It's Thursday, and that's when they announced his 4 to 6 week injury, which is very confusing because he didn't seem unhealthy. So if this is sudden, then it definitely affects their offense. He's their deep threat. He's their, one-on-one playmaker. Not that, T. Higgins can absolutely fill in some of that, but T. Higgins isn't the burner, isn't the, 60, 70-yard touchdown guy that Jamar Chase is. So I think it's going to be hard. The Browns, listen, I smack-talked their defense, but all you got to do, Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski, I know you're listening. Joe Woods, I know you're listening. Just play a 2-high shell and focus on Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. Do you know the next receiver in their receiving core has 7 targets on the year? That's Michael Thomas, not the good one. So
yeah, but they have Hayden Hurst.
Exactly. let Connor's guy Hayden Hurst try to beat you. Nick Chubb, my favorite player, comes in. Another huge day. Bengals aren't very good against the run. They have good corners, good pass rushers, not great linebackers. Ken, you're wrong. Monday Night Football is going to be a great one for the Browns. They lose 21-20, but I cover. Connor, your next pick.
All right. I'm taking... Nobody else picked this game. I'm shocked. This is a total Ken here. I'm going just based off of what I've seen here. And I think that 2 things. New Orleans is starting Andy Dalton again, which is insane. This is Vegas, minus 1.5. I'm taking Vegas. And ironically, the under. Because I think that Josh Jacobs, we missed on this one in the fantasy preseason. For all of the right reasons, which is hard to say. all of the reasons that he should not be as good as he is, he is. They brought in a very high round pick, declined his fifth year option, brought in 2 other running backs in addition to the high round pick, and yet somehow, some way, he is pretty much top 3 in every statistical category for the rushing attack for Las Vegas. In addition to that, I'm so out on Andy Dalton. The dude was mediocre at best for Cincinnati for 8 years or whatever. He was Kirk Cousins before Kirk Cousins, if you want to call it that. And, he had 2 pick sixes last week.
They were bad.
I mean, they were bad. So this is a very simple play here. I just think that, I don't think New Orleans scores that well. Got a pretty mediocre offensive line. They've got Alvin Kamara, but quarterback is a big problem. Their defense has been suspect in certain aspects this year too. I think this is a Vegas covering at -1.5. I'm a little bit surprised there. 49.5. I just don't think that. I honestly just don't think New Orleans can get up there. Split it in half, 25 points. I don't think they can get there, and I don't think that Derek Carr is putting up 30 plus. So very simple, very quick and easy.
All right. So you said you had the under with that too, right?
Correct.
I was just reading through some stats. All right, Ken, you can go again. What are you feeling?
So I'm picking Atlanta -4. So if we were talking about this game a week ago, I think everyone's heavy all over Atlanta. Carolina, I don't know what they did to Tampa Bay. That's a fluke game. That's not on them.
That was PJ Walker being Tom Brady against Tom Brady. Like, Connor, I wanted to talk to you about this, but we don't have a lot of time since we want to watch the Thursday night game. But the throw to DJ Moore for like an 11-yard touchdown, that was against a cover 2 shell that should have taken that throw away, and PJ Walker put it right on him. Best throw of the weekend.
Very poor on the back end there.
Well, that could be it too, but still a dime.
But this Atlanta team just 2 weeks ago spanked the 49ers, which we'll get to. We all love them. But last week against the Bengals, Atlanta, they don't get a good pass rush. They just don't. And Joe Burrow, you can't give him that. You can't give him that time. And guess what? He put them in their place. But Atlanta is not gonna play from behind against Carolina. Their team is not made to come from behind, that's for sure. But overall, they've been solid, and Carolina hasn't. That's just it. This is more against Carolina than anything. I think last week was a fluke. I think the Buccaneers were maybe looking ahead to this Thursday night game, or maybe Tom Brady just wasn't in it. Don't care. I think that 4, a little bigger. I'd like to see it under 3. I would tease this down if that's what we were doing, but I'll take Atlanta.
If you want to talk about bad coaches, Arthur Smith has a number 3 pick at tight end and a number 8 pick at wide receiver, and he throws the ball 13 times a game.
Dude, all right, listen.
This is just.
I am totally in agreement with you, but this is fantasy people versus real life wins and losses. And the dude is like a game out of first place in their division. So it's hard for anybody outside of the fantasy football community to say that. I hate him. We've been very vocal about it, but good Lord, he's actually winning games somewhat.
You know who else made the playoffs? Marvin Lewis. How's that feel?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut, and that nut is in the AFC or the NFC South this year. It is a complete joke of a division, and the Buccaneers are going to win it. Don't tell me, they're close. No. The Buccaneers are a mile ahead, the best team in that division, and it's depressing because they're a 9-win team right now. It's a joke. All right. With that aside, Connor, back to you. What else?
All right, so I've got 2 picks left. We'll go rapid fire here. Ken and I both have Miami. To be fair, I had it first. I understand that Ken just really wanted to get his picks up. Fine, I get it. However, listen, I'm out. I Detroit has to make me wrong again, picking against them to make me be back on their side because I have been embarrassed. They are an embarrassing team that you know what? I'm starting to not think that Dan Campbell is anything other than a loud voice. And I'm thinking he may be best for WWE and not coaching because he is upsetting me to the nth degree. And I can tell you, he was very upset at Jamal Williams for a good reason when he fumbled into the end zone last week.
The first fumble of Jamal Williams' career cost us the cover last week.
Yeah. So I was also upset about that. But I think Tua got himself, quote unquote, under control. He got his feet wet back again last week. Man, I think it's about to be a boat race. I think Waddle's healthy. I think Hill is healthy again. We're starting to get. I think these guys are getting back into it, and I think we are going to see Miami start to take off here. Goff's turned back into Goff too, so I'm in on Miami this week -3.5.
Real quick, live. I just got a text message from Nate Schmidt. He called me today, and I told him don't start Tom Brady. And you know what? He said Tom Brady just missed a pass to someone in the end zone. Lenny Fournette vultured the touchdown. So you know what?
He did.
That's what I'm talking about. Come here for your fantasy advice. We'll rock it.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I have Tom Brady and I started him. So
it was a 2 QB league, right? Because Nate is choosing Dan Jones or Kirk Cousins over Tom Brady. If it was 2 QBs, he would start both.
Daniel Jones?
Dan the Man Jones.
Dan Trackstar Jones.
Dan, I don't need to throw the ball when I run like that, Jones.
No, I agreed with Connor on this Miami thing, except for I doubled down on the whole Detroit's not going to score thing because I'm going with the under as well. Also, I have Jared Goff starting because I really need him in fantasy and I was desperate. That pretty much ends with low-scoring offenses this year.
So,
by the way, Lenny Fournette, 7 rushes, 18 yards, and a touchdown. So
the classic Lenny.
Crappy, awful efficiency, and he gets the 1-yard touchdown.
Detroit, I am praying that DeAndre Swift is a difference maker for them again because they need that. They don't have burst.
Is he playing
they need.
This week? I didn't think he was playing.
I have no idea. Last time
he's in full participant last 2 practices.
So if he is in, it will give huge burst to this offense that is badly needing it. They need Jameson Williams. They need an X or a Y on the outside, someone that can just just expand the field. Right now they play too much in the numbers, and that's what's holding them back. But they'll get back. I believe in Detroit. I'll be betting them in December, just not this week. Anyways, my next pick. I forgot that I have an article to write this week, and so I just checked up who the matchup is, and it's Denver versus Jacksonville. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's the struggle bus out in London, and I'm taking the Jaguars. And do you know why? Because their home field is London. I can't remember. I think it was the year of Saxonville. Like they had lost. They just lost their first. Or no, it was the year after Saxonville. They just got blown out by Kansas City, and then they went to London and they beat the brakes off of the Ravens, that was Lamar Jackson's MVP year. It was like 40-3 that they won. London is their home field. Their franchise is going to move there one day, probably.
You also do know that the Sheik owns them, right?
Yes. They've played the most London games of any NFL team.
Yeah, that's because he uses his own Tottenham stadium. He owns Tottenham.
Oh, I didn't know that actually. So
yeah. That's why Jacksonville goes there every year.
They're actually gonna move there. I don't know if you're being
my take of that. I say my take of them moving there is actually very well founded, and I was just making a joke, but it worked out well. Anyways,
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, he's just so like when he throws the ball, it just floats beautifully, and then when you see what's happening on the ground, you're like, oh, that's a terrible throw. I am really betting on the fact that Denver is just so bad offensively that Jacksonville's defense makes enough plays. Travis Etienne, shout out to our running back, fantasy talk, is now the clear starter, so much so that they got rid of James Robinson. He looked so good last week. Couple big plays is all you need against Denver. Denver's a team. They're going to kick 5 field goals. You know what that means? 2 touchdowns or 2 field goals. 2 touchdowns and a field goal. You win this game. I believe in Doug Peterson to come out with enough craftiness to make Nathaniel Hackett look silly, because Nathaniel Hackett is the worst coach in the NFL. If you want to fire someone, fire Nathaniel Hackett. Like, I've never called for a coach to get fired in their first year like this. Get him out. Jacksonville, it's -2.5. They got this.
Is Russ playing?
I don't care.
As he is, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I wouldn't think it matters.
How much better was Russell Wilson than Brett Ripien last week? Not much. So, let's go on.
Our other smash play of the week. Ken, give us our other smash.
My smash?
No, all of us. It's very obvious. There's only one pick that fits.
Is the Packers? Are we talking about the Packers? No. 49ers, guys. Okay. You guys can talk about 49ers. I got enough to pick.
Listen, all you have to know about this is Matt Stafford plays on the other side. San Francisco is back to full strength or nearly full strength on their defense. Jimmy G, all he has to do is distribute. Again, Debo may be out. Fine. That's not a big deal. You just got the human joystick as your running back. He's going to be all over the map. I think this is a huge game for Christian McCaffrey. And George Kittle's back to being George Kittle. Everything is pointing to San Francisco. This is basically a toss-up game, and they should crush it at -1.5.
I just want to add on to that in the regular season, you know how many times Sean McVay has beaten Kyle Shanahan? 0. It's like he's like 0-7 or 0-8 against him. It's ridiculous. Oh wait, yeah, no, that includes earlier this year. That's right. Give me Kyle Shanahan, the better coach. By the way, who is also terrible at personnel decisions and in-game choices and stuff like that. He cost his team a Super Bowl, but he's still a brilliant offensive coach. Love him. Save Kevin Stefanski.
The Rams are going to be saying, wow, I really wish that Christian McCaffrey was on our team. Wow, I really wish we would have traded for him, not the 49ers. They can't run the ball. They have no line. It's going to look bad. The 49ers have such an advantage in the trenches offensively and on their offensive line, their defensive line. This might not be a pretty game to watch. Might be boring. Hopefully Jimmy G doesn't have to throw the ball a lot. Probably won't have to.
All right. Go on. I think my last play of the week. Like, you ever like fill out the spreadsheet and then be like, why did I put that in there? But I have under 39.5 in the Washington versus Colts game. And it's like I'm looking at it, I'm like, why did I put that in there? But it's Taylor Heineke versus Sam Ehlinger. Like, this sounds like a terrible like Saturday afternoon college game if you just read the quarterback names. So I don't think either team can move the ball well. The fact that you bench Matt Ryan, who's completely atrocious, for Sam Ehlinger is a complete joke. Sam. I think the only reason you do it is because Sam has legs underneath him, and Matt Ryan is 45, and he can't move. So I'm going with Sam all the way on this and saying it's the right move.
Just a chance.
Huh?
You have to give Sam a chance. You got to see if he's worth anything. You got to get a quarterback.
They need a quarterback. 100% they need to. But anyways.
Give him a chance here.
All right. Well, Washington, I can't wait for them to draft C.J. Stroud, guy from Alabama, someone, Bryce Young. I can't wait for them to get a new quarterback with these weapons who have shown that they're actually good. Until then, it's going to be very sad and disappointing. I do like me some Taylor Heineke, but it's just not going to end well. So, under 39.5. This is going to be a game. Brian Robinson, Jonathan Taylor are going to get 20 carries for 67 yards each, and the clock is just going to disappear. Let's go. Ken, you're up.
All right. Green Bay plus 11.5. 11.5 is a ridiculous number. Yes, they're playing the Bills, but you know how many times Aaron Rodgers has ever been a double-digit underdog? Never. I don't. I do not. I just think that at some point, Aaron Rodgers maybe doesn't get absolutely embarrassed. This could be almost an overlooked game for the Bills.
Bye, Connor.
Sorry.
Even with just how slow the Packers play, maybe they keep it within double digits. That's all I'm looking for. But this one, when you talk about a hope game, a feeling game, this is a feeling game. That's all I got.
All right, and Ken, it looks like you have one more pick in the Arizona versus Minnesota game.
You don't want to talk about the under because you also have Connor. Connor and I both have the under in this game because if Green Bay is going to win, it's going to be a slow game and they're going to control the clock with the ball. Not win, but keep it close. They're going to cover, so that's why I'm doing that too.
So you are doubling down on Green Bay. That's the team that you thought, oh, this is a good idea. I support this team.
Yeah, sometimes the Bills don't win by double digits.
I don't remember those games because they don't exist.
This is more me betting on Aaron Rodgers. Yes, I'm doubling down on Aaron Rodgers. And then last but not least, Arizona versus Minnesota. The total is 49.5. I think that's a very high number. I don't think Kirk Cousins is that good. I am also starting Kirk Cousins in fantasy because I have to. Also, I think that this number is a little overhyped because the Cardinals got very, very lucky last Thursday. Maybe people, overplay that. I don't think they have much of a run game. I think that DeAndre Hopkins helps, but I think 49 is a large number. I would not be surprised if, Arizona not just win or covers, but also wins. But at the same time, I'd rather bet on that really large number.
So it's hilarious because I have hyped up Minnesota all year. I love me some Minnesota. But every time I see them as more than a field goal, favorite, you can't bet that. This team is so terrible in one point, winning by a lot or a little. You just can't bet them to do to win by more than a touchdown or even a field goal.
I agree. Their DVO says they're not that good of a team.
And with that, we sign farewell to Ken.
Guys, it's been fun. Got a lot of good stuff in there this week.
All right. Ken, I hope we don't see you again because that means you will be a new father. So.
All right. Thanks for having me. I'll be back for the playoffs to give you some awesome picks there.
All right.